Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Christy Denny's. I'll be your Miami trainer this afternoon. Welcome to your class, Form Simplicity for Brokers. We're going to get started on miamirealtor.com, and I'd like to present to you some additional broker services that you have available. We'll then move into the Form Simplicity broker services that you can review, and then we'll go through the broker dashboard. So from miamirealtor.com, I would like to introduce you to broker resources that are available to you. You can find these under member services. Underneath member services, you have a section that says broker, manager, resources. You'll have access to legal updates and resources where you'll find education and information that's relevant to the industry. They're updated frequently and available for you to preview. If we happen to have broker events, you will also be able to access those details from the Member Services Broker Resource page. As I move through here, you'll also have resources like zoning and development code resources and our condo page with additional condo documents created on behalf of the Miami Association of Realtors. If you would like to host your own meetings, you do have the John Mayfield's Easy Sales meetings that are available to you. They are monthly sales meetings that you can use to train your agents and your team leaders. As I move through here, we have broker manager stat reports that are available. And Miami Realtors also has their official podcast. You can listen to it on your next drive to your next showing, or you can highlight it as another broker benefit as well as an agent benefit for those in your office. As I move through here, you and your agents have access to Miami Realtors MLS Help Center, where you can find on-demand tutorials and step-by-step instructions on different categories associated to the MLS. This will include CMA, statistics, MLS Touch, Matrix, and so much more. They also include commercial resources. If you'd like to speak to a professional, we do have linked the Miami MLS Help Center and Help Desk available for you, where you can contact a Miami professional. We have so many products and services. We have a page called Free from Miami Products and Services. If an agent comes up to you and they would need a marketing tool, a CRM, to create a flyer, to create a property website, to have an agent website, you have this section called Free from Miami Products and Services. This will give you access to over 80 realtor products and services that are no cost or no additional cost to the member or to your agent. It is already available to them with their membership. Now, we also have for you your products and services cheat sheet. We have over 200 products. So as you move through this cheat sheet, you'll be able to find the provider, access information, and why you would possibly need it. So for example, if I click on the product services and the cheat sheet, you have a table of content. If you need assistance with showings or open houses or Supra, that's available on page 2. If I need programs and services that are available for marketing, I can have a list of those products that are available on page 14. And as I move through them, each program or service will give me the icon. So I'll be able to, or you'll be able to, guide your agent so that they can find it directly onto their dashboard. They'll have a little summary of what it is and how they can use it. They'll have access to a product page as well as contact information and a playlist so they can learn more about it. You have this for all products and services. Showing time, Supra. These are all of our background checks and the differences in the pricing between all of them. So if you have any questions or receive any questions regarding products and services on behalf of your staff, this is a great cheat sheet. As I move through here, you also have easy as 1, 2, 3. These are products and services that you can get to know and you can access in 3 easy steps. You have your Miami Tech Weekly. This is available as a resource newsletter and it's a guide to maximize your Miami member benefits. If you would like access to it, you can subscribe. Fair housing. This is a plethora of what we can and we cannot do. It also includes the penalties. And if I click on here, you have access to a full page, Fighting for Fair Future, Let's Make Unfair Housing History, and you have all of your fair housing resources, top 30 fair housing tips, downloadable 2026 fair housing posters, as well as additional articles and future classes that are available. This does include new member orientation. On the left-hand side, you also have access to Fairhaven. Fairhaven is an interactive certification that your agent can take, and this will also assist them in taking care of their fair housing requirements this year. Moving back into member services, broker manager resources. Now to the right-hand side, you do have broker support. So if you'd like to speak to a professional, you do have a broker hotline, 305-468-7072, and you have a specific broker email so that you can communicate with professionals here at the association, broker@miamire.com. Now, all of this information you can find directly on your dashboard if you look for the icon that says Broker Manager Dashboard from your resource panels. As I move through here, you have agent specialty and productivity resources that you can access to further support your staff and your agents. Information for new agents, products and services. You can support your teams, your commercial agents, your agents that are interested in listing international properties, selling new construction, developing their business, moving into the luxury field, access to rental and lease information. Those agents that are interested in generating new leads, you have your farming and prospecting section and additional fair housing resources. You have your MLS resources that are also available. Some highlights I want to make are going to be the MLS policies and procedures. These are going to be your rules. You also have access to your unlicensed assistant, their possible activities that they can do, your unlicensed assistant application if you'd like to add an assistant, and you can sign up for the broker manager newsletter. As I move through here, you also have access to professional standard information like your Fair Haven, Fair Housing Stimulation training, as well as descriptions that can violate fair housing, your Code of Ethics, Chapter 475, your Fair Housing poster, and important changes to South Florida fair housing ordinances. Moving through here, you have your broker manager forms and applications, such as customizable pre-designed office safety forms. You have your global membership application, your new member application for any of the agents that are interested in signing up with you. And as they join the association with you, we have a flyer called Why Miami so that you can share all of the products and services that they can receive. As I move through here, you have professional development. That's going to give you our calendar of classes, our classes that are available for your new agents, your back to basics, your South Florida real estate school if they need to take their 45-hour, 14-hour, or if you'd like to have one of your agents take their broker FREC too. Broker manager classes are also available here where you can find your classes like Form Simplicity for Broker, Google Mastery Challenge. You have your Matrix 601 class. This is going to be about rules and regulations and so much more. So I invite you to come check out this page. We also try to have maybe quarterly or twice a year admin and realtor workshops where we invite admins from your office to come and join us. If you'd like to sign up for the newsletter, that is also available here, Broker Manager Newsletter, and any of the updates will become available to you through your email. Now, we do offer a broker outreach program. That means if you would like to host a class, a specialty class for your office, you could click here and fill out the request or reach out to your broker outreach resources where you have Claudia Bailey in Miami-Dade and Jelena Pittman in Broward County. I'm going to share some of these resources with you inside of the chat. So I'm going to share your broker resources. I will also share with you your broker outreach. And if there's anything else that I mentioned on this page that you are interested in receiving the link for, please, by all means, let me know and I will send it right through. Okay, so where can you find all of that information? All of those details, again, are under Member Services, Broker Manager Resources. All right, let's move into form simplicity for brokers. Form simplicity for brokers. We signed up for it and we signed up for it to gain efficiency, receive support, and we can onboard up to 10 plus agents. If you're interested in onboarding at least 10 plus agents, you can schedule a call with Form Simplicity directly. They do have a sales number. You can reach them at 888-784-5404. And as I move through here, these are some of the benefits of form simplicity. Your transactions are going to be easier to manage. You can create your transactions, manage the transactions effortlessly, so you'll be able to manage your own as well as your real estate agents' transactions in real time. You'll be able to close faster with your e-signatures. You'll also get support from Form Simplicity as well. You can request additional training for your office from Form Simplicity as well as your Miami trainers, and you can take steps to safeguard the data. You also can take steps to safeguard your transactions if an agent happens to leave your office. Now, Sable Sign is your e-sign replacement. They have been transitioning Sable Sign to be the new electronic signature for a little over a year. Now, we do have additional time. They transitioned it very slowly, and I believe they will continue to extend that time period until the summer. I believe June 24th will be the cutoff date. So if you do have current agents in your office and you'd like to help them learn the Sable Sign process, we will be going over that today, and they do have recordings that you can share. Okay, of course, you can maximize protection for your office and you can also create compliance. Now, how could you create compliance? In today's class, we will be creating broker-wide packages together. So I'll show you how you can do that. We're also able to create broker transaction management checklists that your agents can follow and you can review so that the mandatory as per your office, forms that need to be in place are there before any approvals. Okay, stand out from the competition. That means you are able to brand all of your forms. So all of the forms that are filled out by your office will have your logo available. The design is responsive and primarily user-friendly. It also operates not only on a standard computer screen, it operates very well on an iPad. Your agents can even access it from their cell phones. Now, if you have your own forms and you would like to make them fillable, you are able to order form programming. So Form Simplicity can load them into your Form Simplicity program and they can make your personal office forms fillable. I'm going to share this with you. I have pulled a really great how-to video. These are going to be quick and simple tutorial videos that I'm going to share with you in the chat. Now, these are not necessarily for you as the broker, but I think it's a great tool for any agent that you're onboarding. This will give them 1 or 2 minutes at the most. Well, anywhere, I believe, between 4 minutes. This is a 6-minute video. This is another 5 minutes. So they are bite-size tutorials to help them move through the form simplicity information, their transactions, how to work their transactions, how to access their form packages, how to access their libraries, contacts, um, put in a clause, collaborate, email their transactions, and how to access their task list templates. So if you need a training tool, this is a great page, and I will be sharing this with you. How to use form simplicity. This is excellent if you have an agent that happens to be a part-time agent and doesn't have the time to come and visit us here at the association. Speaking of your part-time agents, we do have a YouTube channel that I want you to know about. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/miamitrainers. All of our tech classes are available here. We've just introduced a new form of training called Grow Your Business in 15 Minutes. These are 15-minute bite-sized classes to help your agents excel and start using all of their tech programs and services. If you're looking for things like Matrix or Form Simplicity, IMAP, or how to create a CMA, using the looking glass, they can look up the class and they can have or find those series. Most of our classes are available in English and in Spanish. Moving into Form Simplicity, and this is an example of your Form Simplicity program for brokers. We're going to start on the top right-hand corner. So in the top right-hand corner, or maybe towards the middle, you'll find your notifications. These notifications are specifically created from Form Simplicity. Notifications of their updates. So any updates they may have, any programs or services that they're now shaking hands with. If they've updated a form or a document, you can find them under notifications. When you tap on notification, it's letting us know that eSign is retiring. eSign retires June 24, 2026, and they're letting us know that SableSign is now ready for you. So they have worked for the past year on updating our SableSign to have all of the functions that eSign had and more. If you wanted to learn a little bit more about the SableSign process, they do have videos and recordings that are available for you. They also have any of the new functions that are now available for you. So their latest functions is the text ceremony authentication. You can do a group session now, you can attach additional documents, and you can save your signatures. For any of the release notes, meaning how has SableSign changed and when did these changes happen, they have the Help Center release notes that you can access. Now, aside from features, they also will include for you updates to forms as well. All right. Moving from notifications to switch users. So underneath switch users, you'll have access to all of your staff as well as all of your agents. So if you need to go on the back end and view the dashboard of any of your agents, you can choose to review their information and switch users. That'll give you access to all of their transactions. Now, if you wanted to, you can come back in and you can see all of their current transactions. You're able to view the transactions within their system as well as all of their archive transactions. The transactions that are available for you to edit, you will be able to edit them if you wish, and you can track everything that's happening with each one of your agents. To switch back to your account, you can click on Switch Back to My Account. Next is switch users. So now that we know how to go back and forth, we have our preferences. I'm going to click here. From preferences, we have our account information. We basically want to confirm all of your details and add in anything that's missing. On the right-hand side, this will be your office information. If you have an additional email that you'd like to add as a specific broker email, you are able to communicate directly with Form Simplicity, update that information. You also can update that information through your resource panels. Your account information, you want to make sure that your details are correct, your email, your work, and your cell phone information. As I move through here, you have your general settings. Here, we want to make sure to add in our signature. Any email coming from you, we want to make sure that you have your first name, last name, your title, your office information, contact details, and website, and confirm that your time zone is correct. Once you've completed that, you're going to scroll down to the bottom and save your changes. Now, any email that goes out through Form Simplicity is assigned an additional email. In this case, it's FS for Form Simplicity plus the property street address. So this email will be customized per transaction at formsimplicity.com. A great tip. This email serves the purpose of being able to load PDFs directly into your transactions. So if you have any additional forms that we want to add, that is a wonderful email address that you'd like to point out to your agents. They will also have that function available to them. Save your changes at the bottom. Moving through the information, you have your subscription details. This will let you know the addition of Form Simplicity that you have, and if you have the ability to unlock any more powerful tools and upgrade today. If you'd like to upgrade and you do not know the pricing, we do have the pricing available for you. So, Professional Edition, this is going to be $4 per month per user. You have your Ultimate Edition. This will also include e-sign, split PDFs, unlimited storage. This will be $7 per user per month, 1 year commitment, and then you have your Unlimited Edition where you can request a quote. As I move through here, you have a list on the left-hand side of everything that is included for you. And at the bottom, if you have any questions, feel free to begin a chat. Now, they do have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you are interested in testing the service, you're able to do so. All right, clicking back onto preferences. Moving through here, we have our email notifications. These are going to be notifications sent to you when any of your tasks are due, when an assigned task is marked as complete, when you receive a fax, when you receive an email or a message and or an attachment through Form Simplicity, when a transaction is shared with you, possibly from another agent or from within your office, when a comment is made on a shared form or file. So agents in your office can send you their agreements or their transactions for you to review and comment on. So I believe this is a great option to have checked off when my transaction checklist is approved or returned as incomplete. So this is a section I would turn on out of my notifications. I would also train your staff as well as your agents to make sure that their notifications are turned on. So anytime you are interacting with them, and interacting within their Form Simplicity, they receive these notifications and can act promptly. On the right-hand side, notifications for transactions shared with you, you're able to toggle this on. And then if you'd like to receive these notifications, they will by default be sent to the email address listed in the account information. But if you'd like it sent somewhere else instead, these notifications can be sent to an alternative email. So here you're able to add an alternative email. And if you have an additional admin that you'd like to be carbon copied on those, you can add the person here. I'm going to also toggle on brokerage notifications. You have specific agent notifications on the top, and then at the bottom, you have your brokerage notifications. When an agent submits a transaction checklist for review, so this I want to make sure that they are compliant and I want to be able to receive that so I can review. When a transaction becomes unassigned. So this is important. When a transaction becomes unassigned, that means that the agent left your office. When an agent leaves your office, their listings and their transactions, they stay with you. And so if a transaction becomes unassigned, you have two choices. You can reassign that transaction to your past agent, meaning they left and you're going to reassign it to them so that they can keep it moving forward with their new brokerage, or you can choose to reassign it to another agent. So knowing when something becomes unassigned is really important because it'll help you keep tabs on all of your internal records regarding your agents. When an agent creates a new transaction, so if you want to keep tabs on your agents and when they are creating new transactions so that you are there to support them through that process, you're able to toggle this on. Moving on down, we have your security settings. So as I move through here, this is optional. If you'd like to strengthen your Form Simplicity account and you'd like to add a two-part or a two-factor authentication process, you can do so. You can toggle this on and you can choose to receive a text. So that means when you log into your dashboard, you would have to receive a text message. They would give you a code, and once you enter the code, then you can get in. Or you can choose to log into your Form Simplicity, receive an email verification, and then you can log in. So this is completely optional, but if you want to add an additional layer of security on your Form Simplicity, since you have a broker dashboard, this is available here. If you have a specific program, let me close these out. If you have a specific program, you do have integrations. It may be available here. You have Bold Trail. You can sync transaction data. With Google Calendar, you can sync transaction dates and tasks. You have your Seller Shield. This will provide disclosure forms. You have your Google Drive option where you can copy your files directly from Google Drive. You have Dropbox. You have Rent Spree, which is a tenant screening process. You have your Google Contacts if you'd like to import them. You have your Earnest, so you can send earnest money requests. And then you have Rate My Agent, and this is a testimonial program. So you can turn these on if you'd like to use them. They're available through or they work with Form Simplicity. So for example, Rate My Agent. Anytime I have a closing, Rate My Agent will automate the process. It will immediately send, let's say my particular buyer, it'll send my buyer a request for a testimonial. And then I can take that testimonial and I can post it or syndicate it out to multiple social media pages like Facebook, Google, Instagram, Yelp, in order for me to create a presence and have my testimonials all in one place. You also get the ability to approve the testimonial before you post it. So depending on what they said. All right, so far we know how to keep tabs of what's happening in Form Simplicity with notifications. We can access all of our agents' information and the back end of their profiles using Switch User. We're able to select our preferences, receive our notifications, and we know what programs shake hands with Form Simplicity. You do have a help center. So if you click on help, you do have the ability to type your questions below. My recommendation as brokers, type in the word broker and click on go. This will give you access to broker articles that are available for you. Broker-wide packages, create, add blank forms. When an agent leaves your brokerage, how do you create a broker-wide clause? How do you create a transaction compliance review checklist? These are all available to you. How do you enable broker authority features for an agent or for assistants? And all of those release notes that we talked about. So I do recommend coming back in and checking out your help tutorials. They're very, very good and easy to find. So clicking on help, simply type in broker to find those articles. Now you do have a knowledge base. You have getting started tutorials for beginners as well as videos. As I move through here, if you want to speak to a person though, you can click on support and you can call. You can reach them 407-587-1450. They're available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. our time, Eastern time. They're also available on the weekends. They're available from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now, if your agent gets stuck while they're in the process of doing a Sable sign, for example, Form Simplicity cannot assist them when it comes to filling out contracts, but they can guide them on the steps of sending out a Sable sign, They can access their screen and they can guide them. They're very, very nice. If you have an additional issue, you can open up a case. You can also chat with them, and they're available again Monday through Friday and on the weekends. All right, that takes care of our preferences, our integrations, our contact information, and our help. Let's move down to our homepage. Within our homepage, you'll have access to begin a new transaction, and your transactions do have the ability to update the status. You're able to say, okay, this property was leased or rented. These are going to be the listings that belong to you if you are a broker that's also still participating in real estate. You're also able to click and delete transactions. So in the way that I'm able to delete this transaction, top right hand corner, so are your agents. So I'm going to show you how to keep them from deleting their transactions. You may want to put that in place. Why? If they ever become unassigned transactions, you'll be able to assign them to another user, to another agent. You're able to keep your transactions. If they delete them, they won't be available within the system. So I'm able to delete. I'm going to show you, if you'd like to put that in place, how to help them not be able to delete their transactions. Now, what would be the solution for your agent? If you happen to give them the opportunity of not, well, to remove the opportunity to delete transactions, they do have the option to archive them, which would be best. Why? If they archive them, it'll move into the archive transaction folder. So they would simply be saving it. Even if it's incomplete or it didn't go through, the transaction is there. And if you ever get subpoenaed or you need proof of the transaction or additional details about what happened, you have your transactions in place. Okay. Remember when we talked about the email? This is the email that's available. So that email is assigned to the property. If your agent receives any attachments to this email, those attachments will fall neatly under files. Now, your agent's going to have a few options when they open up a transaction. So let's do a transaction together. I'm going to click My Transactions, and I'm going to click on Start a New Transaction, pretending I'm one of your agents. Now, my transaction address. I'm going to say that my transaction address is, here's an address here, 12512 Northwest 32nd Manor in Sunrise. To give my transaction a name, I'm going to simply click Same as Address. I'm going to choose my property type. I'm going to say this is a residential property, and I'm going to do a purchase agreement. This is where your support comes in. Your agent is able to choose to use a form package. Now, you should create the most common form packages. Here's some examples. You have your listing package, a residential sale package, a listing agreement, a listing package for residential real estate, a sales contract. You can have commercial packages in place. So then your agent would simply select one of the packages that you made them and then create a transaction. What is the benefit? You've organized all of the forms that they're going to need to be compliant and be able to fill out this package. So then when they click Create Transaction, any of the forms that you added will appear here and they can get started from a place of instruction. Another example from home. Okay. Let's say we're going to, again, add our forms or add our details. I'll choose the same address. I'm going to give it the same name. This is going to be residential, and I'm doing a purchase. If you don't have a package, then they would simply click Create Transaction. And then if they click Create Transaction, they're not going to have any forms that you've organized for them to be able to be compliant. They basically would click add blank forms. See, if you had forms, you have add form packages again, and they're able to choose between the broker wide packages, these will be yours, or personal packages, which will be packages that they can create on their own. So it's up to you if you'd like them to create their own packages, which is available, or if you want to give them that guidance as a brokerage. And during class, many agents have sighed in relief when they find that their office has created a form package for them. Now, if they have to create it themselves, how can they do it? They would do add blank forms. They would then choose whether these forms are coming from all of the libraries, the board, Florida, or Fannie Mae. And then they would have to search the document. So let's say I'm going to choose as is. I'm going to look it up with the looking glass, and I have 3 forms. And I can choose any of the forms that I'd like to add in my package, add to transaction, whether those forms make sense or don't make sense. Why? Form simplicity is not going to keep you compliant this way. This way, your agent has the ability to add any of the packages, and form simplicity won't tell them whether that's a correct form or an incorrect form. Okay. I will be showing you how it is that you can create your packages. All right. Under these packages, you also have the ability, as I move through here, to upload forms. Aside from forms, to upload files. So you yourself, as a real estate professional, you'll be able to create new file folders for them. So for example, if you have certain documents that have to do with marketing, or you have a specific onboarding package for any of your transactions, you are able to upload files and have them available for all of your agents. If you want to assign a task to a transaction, let me click on tasks. You can add a task list template. What does that mean? That means that you can add for them a step-by-step guide on everything they need to do based on that specific transaction. They can create their own, or they can pull one that you've created for them. And then lastly, agents are able to collaborate with you. So when they click on collaborate, they're able to click on the link collaborate. They're able to fill in your information or your email. My subject will be please review. Before I send, please review. And then I'm going to send the collaboration link. That collaboration link will go to any of the emails that I submitted here. What does that mean? That means that you'll have access to my documents. You will be able to edit my document. And as your agent, I'm able to view the comments. Now, your agent is also able to disable the link. So once you've added all of your commentary, I've updated my forms, I can then disable my link. Notes. Any notes on a transaction can be found here. Any email history can be found here. And then any steps that were taken throughout this transaction are dated and time-stamped. Okay. Now we did learn that they have the option to delete. We do want to show them though how to archive, which is really important. Archive will allow us to click on archive, click yes, archive transactions, and instead of losing it, it'll be available under archive transactions. If you'd like to teach your agent how to auto input the initial information from a transaction, I do recommend using the button Import Property Data. You'll have a few different ways that you're able to do this. The first way you'll be able to do it is you can import the property data with the MLS number. This will allow the agent to put in the MLS number. I'm going to put any MLS number now partaking to this specific listing, But if I did have this listing, you would look up the MLS number and import the MLS data using this button. You would verify the address. This one's a little old. You would verify the address, and if it is active and available for you to load, you would pick it from here. Your other option, if it is off the MLS, is your agent can use the tax search. Now, if they are going to use the tax search, my recommendation is to put in the address and to be sure that the county is correct. So you can pick your county, and then add in your address. You can do an address or you can do a parcel. Find tax data, and the information will be available for them. You can click on select. The details will pull. This will include seller and landlord information. They can save the information to the transaction. They can continue to save the information to the transaction. And then all of the initial details from the tax roll, let me click on show more, will become available. And any of the forms that they've added in, let me save the data. Any of the forms that they added in will then have that information filled in for them because they already added it to the top. Okay. As your agent, they also have the ability to add or insert clauses. So let me move through the bottom until I get to additional terms. They can click and they have the option to insert a clause. And if you've created clauses for them, they'll be able to access that information. So any clause that you draft is going to be available for them. I will also be showing you how to add in or where you can add in your clauses. Let me click on the X. Save and close. Okay. Under transactions, your agents will get their own transactions, but we want to remind them that if they receive any transactions from another agent, that'll be available under shared transactions. Any of the transactions that they have saved away will be available under archive transactions. They're able to sort that information to find it either by name, the last time they updated it, when they created it, or the closing date. They can view their transactions either as lists, grids, and they can search by name. Most of the sections in Form Simplicity have a little tutorial video, and they also have a little question mark, which gives you a rundown of the information. Moving over into blank forms. Now, inside of blank forms, you have a few options here. Okay. So within blank forms, you have the boards forms. These are the boards forms that are available. And there is new forms that the association has added for you. And I am going to share with you a page that gives you what those forms are and how you can use them. You can also find the Florida forms. And you can also find the Fannie Mae forms. So your agents have access to these details. And any of these forms, they can print, email, download. You as the agent, though, have the ability to disable or enable specific forms. If you do not want them to use a specific form found, you can disable it. Your form packages, they'll be able to find them to the right of the form library. They'll have two categories. They'll have the broker-wide packages that you've created for them, and they'll also have the ability to access their own personal packages that they have access to create on their own. Clauses. When I click on clauses, your agents will have your broker-wide clauses in place. They'll also have their personal clauses that they can create. So they have the ability to click create new clauses to create just that, their own clause. Moving from blank forms over into the broker dashboard. So within the broker dashboard, you have access to all of the transactions as well as the archive transactions inside of the office. Now, we did talk about when your agent leaves the brokerage. If your agent were to leave your brokerage, transactions are going to be hidden from your agent the next time that they go into Form Simplicity. Now, the transactions will be hidden from them, and they'll also receive a pop-up from Form Simplicity letting them know that those transactions have stayed with their prior broker. You yourself, as the broker manager, you'll be able to find those unassigned transactions, meaning the agent left and they stayed in limbo. You're going to be able to find them right here in this section under broker setup, transaction management, unassigned transactions. You can find them here and you can decide to assign them to another agent within your office. You also have the ability to take that transaction and reassign it to your former agents. What you would have to do if you'd like to reassign it to your former agent is you can write an email to support@formsimplicity.com. And you would have to include your brokerage name, the name of your former agent, their license number, and the names of the transactions. With that information, Form Simplicity has enough detail that they're able to assign it to um, your prior agent at their new office. You have transaction review. This will give you the ability to review the transaction of your agent prior to saving it or moving forward with the transaction. Now, we can create broker transaction um, compliance review checklist for them, and we'll do that in a little bit. All right, moving into agents. So under agents, you'll have access to your entire list of agents. If you have multiple branches, you'll have access to your different training offices or your different real estate branches. And you'll have access to how many transactions they have and the last time they logged in to Form Simplicity. We also set it up that whenever they're adding or creating a new transaction, you'll receive a notification. You can click on the name, and where it says recent transactions, you can view them all. So if they have any recent transactions for you to view, you're able to access that information. Past agents, we have the section that says assistants. So if you do have an assistant, if you'd like to add someone in, what would you be doing here? Here, you can choose to add an admin. And you can also give them access to broker authority to your broker dashboard. And you're able to set this up under the assistance tab. You're also able to search for your assistant. You also have a little question mark with an overview of how this section works, as well as a tutorial. To add a new assistant account, you are able to do it in a few different ways. You're able to click Add New Assistant Account. You can give them their first name, their last name. You can create a password for them, assign them to a particular branch if you have more than one branch, and create your assistant account. Okay. Moving over into broker setup. Inside of broker setup, not only can you add additional assistants under assistants, but that second way was to grant broker authority to an existing agent in your office or an assistant that's already part of Form Simplicity. So to do so, you would click on Add Agent or Assistant, and you're able to pick from the drop-down arrow. So once you added that account, their username and their password, you can choose them. Or for example, you can choose one of the agents. And if you wanted to upgrade them to your assistant, you can choose the person. So you can say, I'm going to use user 8 student. You have the ability to decide how much access they get. So for example, would you like them to be able to switch user accounts? Would you like them to create broker form packages for you? Do you want them to create broker task templates or view brokerage transactions? Are they allowed to delete brokerage transactions or approve their own transactions? Can they manage agent settings, upload broker logos for you? Can they enable or disable library forms, create brokerage clauses, create a brokerage email template, view commission details, review transaction documents, manage unassigned transactions, and create assistant accounts. You can grant broker authority, and you can save and grant another agent. So if you want to just give it to, who's this? This is user 8. I'm going to grant broker authority, or if I want to do user 8 and user 9, I can save this and then also give authority to user 8. Okay, you do have access to select all or unselect all if you've changed your mind regarding your assistant. All right. Here's another piece that I wanted to show you. If the agent leaves your office, we know that we can find their transactions under unassigned, but you also may want to remove the ability for them to delete their transactions. To do so, you can click on Do Not Allow Agents to Delete Their Transactions. What would be their secondary option? Simple, they would simply archive those transactions instead of deleting. So this is up to you, your business decision as a brokerage. On the right-hand side, you have a little questionnaire giving you a overview of this section. You're also able to upload your logo. So you can choose your logo. Guys, I am thrilled that Form Simplicity is working at this time because this morning, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but it went down. I'm going to choose my logo. I'm going to open and then upload logo. Okay, so what's going to happen with my logo? My logo is going to appear on all of the forms so that all of our documents are branded to our office. All right, and that's your initial check or setup. If you'd like, let me go ahead and select Do Not Allow, Save Transaction Settings. And we have our assistant in place. We have our Do Not Delete Transactions in place. We have our logos on our forms. We know what happens when agents leave the office. Now we have manage checklists. Inside of manage checklist, this would be a few steps when it comes to managing a checklist. Your first step would be to create a new review checklist. Once you create a new review checklist, you would then have to instruct, let me do new rental listing. You would then have to instruct your agents to use them when it comes to each one of their transactions. And then when you receive communications from your agent, you are able to see what missing documents may be missing so that you can have a conversation with your agent or simply send it back as incomplete. So save. Okay. So from here, you have your auto apply checklist. This will allow you to connect this document, this checklist with any of your broker form packages so that it'll automatically be added to your agent's transaction, whether that's going to be a sale or a rental or a commission property. So if you have a vague checklist for all documents, you can create something a little bit more vague, or you can get more specific about your checklist. I can either say, okay, well, I just want this to be applied to my residential sale packages. Or I can say, well, I want this only to be applied to listing packages. Okay. So you decide how you'd like them to be applied, and then who's going to get this? All users with broker authority or the following users with broker authority? Who gets to review your checklist? I'm going to say the following user with broker authority. This would be great if you have maybe team leads within your office and you allow them to do this. I'm going to do all users with broker authority. Now, what needs to be in place? This is your decision. So it says add checklist item, and you are able to add the item that you need in place. The escrow form, is it required or is it when applicable? So I'm going to do required and I'm going to add it to my checklist. So everything that is required, add checklist items. Onboard info sheet of the customer, is it required or if applicable? I'm going to do required and I'm going to add. You also can change the order of these forms. So you're able to create that list of everything you'd want each transaction to have so that you can approve it. Add checklist. Is it required? You add it in. Okay. How can you get guidance? What if you've never done this before and what you're looking for are templates, a checklist template? I recommend taking a contract class. There's a few additional broker classes that I recommend to you. I would take a contract class as a good starting point, and I believe Florida Realtors may have some good articles. I'm going to send a email to you guys after class with some resources that you can review, as well as some of the pages that I shared with you during class. If you need to delete, you have your delete button, you update your checklist, and it is available. Now I can move over into offices, and you can choose, okay, this checklist, to what office would I want to apply that to? I only have one branch, so I'm going to check it off and I'm going to save my changes. Okay. All right. So far we went through our broker checkup. We did our setup. We did our managed checklist. We did our office information. We reviewed our homepage. So within our homepage, we talked about the form packages. I wanted to move into, we did broker dashboard. I wanted to move into templates. Templates are available for you to create. You have your broker-wide templates and you have your personal templates. Both of them are in place. You also have your email templates. You have your broker-wide email templates and your personal email templates. So for example, create a new email template. My new email template is going to be multiple offer situation. Okay. This is my multiple offer situation, and I can choose between broker wide or personal. I'm going to say this is broker wide. And then the subjects, I'm going to say the same. And then I'll write in here, good afternoon. We have currently received multiple offers, and the seller is currently reviewing all. Please, um, please send, we will update you within the next 2 business days. Thank you. And the information. Now, is this to say this is the email that you're going to write? No, this is to say that you are able to, let me select this as form package and form files, or part of my broker checklist documents, or it can be part of my collaboration invitations. I'm going to make it part of my form packages. And then I'm going to roll down and I'm going to save this. So this will be an email template that when when your agent is ready to do a transaction, if they're in a situation where they're receiving multiple offer situations, they can choose from a template that you created that all of your agents have access to. The same happens with your form packages. So for example, we're inside of blank forms. form packages. Okay. And you create a new package for your office. Create a new package. Here you're going to give it a name. This is my listing package, single family home or single family. Now you're going to pick if this is going to be for the brokerage, if you're going to assign a checklist, and then you create the form package. Now this part's up to you because it's going to put you right into your listing package for single family. And now you add the documents that you think are best for the form packages. Okay, how do you add the package? Or how do you add the forms? Under form, it says add blank form. Okay, so let's say I'm going to go into search forms and I'm going to say I need an exclusive right to sell listing agreement. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to add it to the package. And then let's say I'm going to add another blank form. And the other blank form is going to be a property disclosure form. And I'm going to take a seller property disclosure form. And then I'm going to click on add to package. And you'll go through this and you will add all of the forms that you need. Now, if you have company forms, you can add them under files and you can upload those forms that you need them to add or you need them to have in place when they're filling out these contracts. And this is done. The form package is finished. It's now going to be available inside of the form library, and your agent is able to see, okay, my office has their form packages done for me. And you would do this for your most common transactions. For the clauses, because now your agents get to create a transaction from the package you made them. A new package, property type, commercial, um, purchase. Those packages that you pulled will be available. And when they go into add form package, you have your broker wide packages. And there's your listing package. There's your listing package single family that's available that they can choose a transaction or start a transaction from. Clauses. So if you liked clauses, my transaction, you have, blank forms. You have packages that you can also come back in and you can edit these. And when you move into your packages, it will tell you if any of the packages are old or they have dated information on them. So underneath blank forms, these are the form packages that we made under broker wide packages. You want to come in here. They've been changing packages, changing forms. And so you want to come in here and just check on this every few weeks, I would say at least once a month, and you have access to your listing package. One of my forms that I updated is old. So it says here, update form package. So I have to click on update form package. And the system is telling me that the SEF, the input page from the MLS, it has the old one in it. So I can click on update form package. Form Simplicity will update it for me and I am good to go. If I want to edit it, I can click on listing package and you're able to come back in and add additional blank forms or add additional files. So if you wanted to change them, you could. Aside from form packages, how to update them and how to edit them, you also have access to clauses. So if you wanted to create broker-wide clauses, you can create a new clause and you're able to add your clause name, liens, for example, my new clause details, liens, and then I'm able to make it a broker-wide clause and I can save it. So then if my agent needs to input that specific clause, I'll have access to it, or they'll have access to it so that they can use it. All right, I'm going to click back on home. So far, we were able to cover quite a lot of information. We started with member services. We talked about your broker manager resources. We were also able to cover information within Form Simplicity, like all of your tools, and we were able to do your packages and your logo and your branding. We were able to do your clauses, and we talked about switching users and so much more and how you can find additional help. Thank you so much for being a Miami member. Thank you for being a broker. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Consider me one of your resources. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and you are very welcome. Bye, guys.